You think you can get soup? Please, you're wasting everyone's time.
You look stupid right now.
It's a double black diamond of roads.
They would have killed you.
Alligators.
Hi, welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio, the only show out there that's lobbying Congress to put glow-in-the-dark dinosaur footprints on the Capitol Rotunda.
How many signatures do we have?
3.
3?
I haven't signed yet.
The name of today's show is Rocky Road.
Wait, you mean we get ice cream?
No, you're not getting ice cream. This is about rocky roads, the real roads that have rocks.
Aw.
Okay, we'll be right back.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
Okay, it's Comedy Parenting Rocky Road, and we only bring this point up because we live in the Rocky Mountains, right, guys?
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
We have different issues than other people do around the United States. For example, in Florida, what do they get on their roads?
Alligators.
And what
Poor
do they
little
get on the
buggers.
roads in Texas?
Armadillos.
Mm-hmm. What do they get on the roads in Indiana?
Corn.
Yeah, actually, I've seen corn on the road in Indiana before. So anyway, we have problems with rocks on the roads in Colorado. But before we get to that, I do want to point out that we live on a rocky road, don't we?
A particularly nastily rocky road as well.
We have cliffs that were blasted out and bulldozed out into slate, so the road is
Slight.
And is it very smooth?
Let's just say you don't want to take your nice car up here, or even your half-nice car, or even really just don't want to take a car up here.
No nice cars ever come up here twice. Your mom even popped the tires of the car one time on a rock on our road.
Mm-hmm.
And those are beefy off-road tires, too.
I wonder if there's just an underground army of rocks that have these little holes they pop out of like gophers just when you pass over them at the most unfortunate moments where you would land on them.
It's just like playing whack-a-mole with your car tires on our road.
Yeah, except for the moles are going in the way of your mallet on purpose.
Pow.
We have one blacktop road in this valley, but we're not going to talk about that. On the opposite side of the valley from us, there's another road that's special with rocks, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very
And
special.
what's so cool about that road?
It's
Because
made out of crystal.
No. It is the rocky road. It is literally made out of rock.
Yeah, what kind of rock?
It's crushed up marble.
What kind of marble?
White marble.
They crushed up a bunch of white marble, and then they put it down on the rocky road, and now it's 4 inches thick of crushed white marble.
I think that it was just like a, quick blacktop.
If you drive your nice car up that road, you can have white marble dust, the same white marble that's from the Tomb of the Unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then if you go the other direction up the valley from us, which really, it goes over to Crested Butte, Colorado, but not very easy, does it?
Yeah, it's a double black diamond of roads.
It is, and that's really rocky, isn't it?
It's like the rockiest of the Rockies. By the way, Dad, you got a goggle tan. You look stupid right now.
Thank you.
You'll gut your car like a fish if you don't have the proper clearance.
You're not supposed to go on that road unless you have a four-wheel drive with high ground clearance, and people take regular cars on there and high center them.
Yep.
Now, that spot that you're talking about north of us, that goes up to Crystal, Colorado, which is an old ghost town, very famous ghost town in Colorado. And there's a loop, there's a Jeep road loop that goes up from here and comes across there. And I got to tell you, coming down into Crystal, Colorado from up higher,
Yeah.
it's the whole Jeep road is like bowling balls.
Really?
Yeah. So when you ride a dirt bike on it, it's the nastiest thing. It's like riding down really sharp bowling balls.
You know, I've always wanted to do an experiment like trying to take very small I guess, vehicles that you shouldn't be taking over those kinds of things. I've wanted to do a golf cart and a lawnmower. I've wanted to take both of those things over there. I don't think I'd be successful, but at least I might be able to push it easier off of the rock.
I say go with the lawnmower. You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, talking about Rocky Road. We'll be right back after this message that we don't know what it is yet.
Some bit of audio information.
Ranger Station.
Hi, I want to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My front door. It was Smokey Bear. My husband was burning leaves in the yard. He just came inside for a second.
Never leave a fire unattended. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Smokey said that too.
We go way back. I knew him when he was just a cub.
How cute.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, and your blue sock is behind the bed.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, talking Rocky Road up here in Studio B in Marble, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We have one blacktop road that goes from here down the valley 30 miles, and that thing gets a lot of rocks this time of year, doesn't it?
Quite a few rocks of all sizes and shapes.
I can drive to work in the morning. Mm-hmm. Everything may or may not be cool. I come home from work. There's a whole crop of rocks all the way up and down the highway. What happens when cars drive by from the other direction?
The cars will kick up rocks, and they will hit your car sometimes.
It can definitely ding up the paint. Have you seen? Did you look at the paint on the front of my RAV4?
Yep.
It looked like it had leprosy or something.
Yeah.
And then what happens to the windshields?
They get spider webs.
They get pummeled by rocks. Now, I just replaced the windshield on the van the other day, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
What did it look like when I had it replaced?
We had two major cracks going from one side of the windshield to the other on two different levels.
If it was a map, you would picture them as being the interstates, right?
Yes.
And then what did you have coming off the interstates?
Well, lots of state highways.
And then from those cracks, which were like state highways, what did we have coming off of there?
County roads.
With roundabouts and...
Roundabout. Hey, Dad, didn't you just about have a rock go through the windshield and hit you?
Yeah, that was about a month ago or so. I saw the rock flying at me, and it hit the edge of the windshield on the left side where the metal is. If it had hit in front of my face, it probably would have come through the windshield because it left something that looked about like a bullet hole. You know how like when bullets hit glass and the whole thing just splatters out like a exploding star?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of creepy.
Well, if it had just come over about 3 or 6 inches, it would have killed you.
Yeah, it probably would have.
Speaking of windshields with cracks in them that may or may not have been caused by rocks, our RAV windshield
had a crack all the way from one side to the other.
Yeah, it was a very nasty bit of work.
It kind of looked like Charlie Brown's zigzag on his T-shirt.
You know, it was so bad that we actually got stopped by State Patrol. And he pulled us over and he said, yeah, it's about time for you to replace your windshield.
When he said that, I wanted to say, if you think this windshield is bad, you should see my van windshield, which was really about 4 times worse.
Yeah.
You know, guys, being up here in the Rocky Mountains, we have this interface where the Rocky Mountains and then the highways, they come together.
In a beautiful merging of land and land.
When we first moved up here about 10 years ago, one of the ladies who lives up in this town said to me, Jerry, watch out for the rocks on the road.
Yep.
Had only I known.
Well, when I was a lot younger, we have a hill on our hillside, which we walk down. It's a little bit of a shortcut. Saves about 5 minutes of walking. Anyways, we take it down, and the neighbors used to complain about us knocking rocks down on the road.
That road and the hillside all belong to us.
Yep.
So if you don't like it, just get a higher ground clearance vehicle to drive up to our house. I came driving home from work one time, and a medium-sized boulder had rolled down onto our road just below our house. It was about I don't know what, maybe 3 feet across, something like that.
It was large.
And I called the county and said, can you come take this boulder off of the road? Because it's a county road, but they don't maintain the road. But they did come up and get rid of that boulder. But then I had a much bigger boulder roll in front of me on the state highway.
Oi.
That was near Redstone, Colorado.
Yikes. What time of the day was that?
That was in the evening, right about dark, and I'm coming home. And there's a cliff there that's about 200 feet high across from the town of Redstone. And right in the middle of my lane was a boulder the size of my car.
Really?
Yeah. A, I'm glad I didn't hit it. B, I'm really glad it didn't hit me.
Yeah.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, talking about rocky roads. And stay tuned, we'll be right back.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting.
Stop imitating Fezzik, and I mean it.
Does anybody want to do that?
It's Rocky Road here at Comedy Parenting Radio. We just had one of the things that you really don't want to happen this last week, didn't we?
Quite so.
1 week ago, yesterday, we were coming home in the dark. How many people were in the car?
5.
5.
I came around the corner, and what's in the middle of the road?
Rock.
A rock.
There was a rock in the middle of the road, and whenever you see these rocks, you can either A, swerve around them, or B, go over them. You have to make the split-second decision, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it probably isn't that easy at certain moments.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll look at a rock and go, I can probably go over that one. Well, I saw this rock, and I'm thinking, swerve. And we have 5 people in the car, and it's dark out. I'm like, don't swerve, because you'll go in the river.
You have a 50% chance of running into the rock and maybe damaging your car, or you have another 50% chance of swerving and maybe going off the edge into the river.
I'd like to point out that section of the road did not have a guardrail on the left side, which was the side of the river.
So I held the steering wheel straight. We went right over the rock, and ooh la la.
The rock tumbled and rolled. I think it tore off, our muffler. Leveled, pushed the car up in the middle, and the front tires caught and pulled us out and ripped our gas fuel line open.
We ripped up the bottom of the car really bad, didn't we?
Yes. Yes, quite a bit.
I've been looking in my rearview mirror, and the rock that we went over is bouncing on the highway toward the car behind me. I'm thinking, I hope it doesn't go through his windshield, because it was as big as a basketball.
Yeah.
And he avoided it.
We didn't exactly know the full extent of the damage until we stopped about 200 yards up from the rock. We knew that either the fuel line or the gas tank was punctured, and it turned out it was a gas tank, so yeah, that was not good.
The guy that was behind us told me a little bit later on that there were massive sparks coming out from underneath our car.
And that's gasoline, which is highly flammable.
We're kind of lucky that we didn't end up exiting our car like a burning up NASCAR thing. We're climbing out of that. And the fire department came out and put down all the stuff for soaking up gasoline. The sheriff came. The state patrol came. All the people that were sitting down the Hot Springs pool, they weren't even interested at all. Long story short,
We totaled the car.
yeah, that car's dead. So, if you guys value your cars, don't come to Colorado.
Ever.
Get a rental car.
Though it is worth the view.
Okay, you've been listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, Rocky Road here in Colorado. I want to thank you guys for coming up here in the studio today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And when you guys go, just take this suitcase full of windshield repair kits down to the garage and put it in the trunk of the car.
I will.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.